The big battles will happen in our life, and we will see the enemy defeated, but only when we are obedient in the smaller ones. Here's the thread that goes through this whole message today. It's in your notes. Fear less. It's time to hit the reset button on fear in our life, because the truth is there are many things in our life last year we did not see happen. God wanted to carry us there, but he didn't, because we did not walk in obedience. We feared what would happen if we walked in the steps that we clearly know God has laid out in front of us. Fear less. The real battle is found in my obedience. Let's talk about this battle for obedience. There's a term, it's called latent potential. Now, you may not know this term, but what it means is it's describing the potential that is in something or in a process that is undiscovered, it's dormant, it is not yet appearing, but it's there. It is latent in its potential. And when I think about an ice cube, now that's appropriate because it's stinking cold out there. If you take an ice cube and put it in a room of 21 degrees, guess what? It's going to remain an ice cube. Now, there is latent potential in this ice cube to become water. But that's only going to happen if something else changes. You see, you're going to have to move from 21 degrees to 22 degrees, and then to 23 to 24. But guess what? At 25 degrees, what happens? It's still an ice cube. And at 26 degrees, 27 and 28, it's still an ice cube. But when you get to 30 degrees, it's still an ice cube. But you're turning up the temperature, and you're doing this day after day after day, week after week after week, after month after month after month. But eventually, when it gets to 32 degrees, what happens? It's still an ice cube. But when you hit day 33, week 33, month 33, it is now beginning to become water. The latent potential that is in that ice cube to become something different just kicked in. And then it becomes 34 degrees, and then you crank it up 35, and then it's 37, and then it's 50, and then it's 60, and you're making these jumps and these leaps, and the next thing you know, there is no ice cube anymore. It has made a total transformation, and now it is water. Well, that water was always the undiscovered, the dormant, latent potential within the ice cube. Did you know that there is latent potential in you? But see, obedience and the cumulative effect of obedience day in and day out, week in and week out, month in and month out, it is all there. And we don't like to hear it because we don't like this word obedience. At least I don't. I don't like that word. Maybe you do. Great. I'm really glad. High fives for you. But obedience usually means I'm going to be doing something that I wouldn't normally do on my own. But I'm doing it because God has made it clear to me. Latent potential is a powerful thing, though, and we need to understand it, because here's what we don't get very often. And I hear this from people all the time within the body of Christ. I hear it from people outside of the body of Christ. The reality is that we do not get to reap or to engage and to enjoy the benefits of obedience until I've been obedient. Is this making sense? It's no different than your children. When they misbehave, we put them in a corner and we're like, all right, you're going to have to behave yourself out of that corner, mister. Yes? And we see these things happening in our life. Now, of course, grace and mercy and God's all into those things, absolutely. But there are some things in our life that are the benefits of obedience, and we don't get them until we are obedient. The results that we want for our lives are often hidden. They're undiscovered. They're dormant in the obedience that God has made clear to us already. Here's the thing. I know that there's a lot in your life you don't know. But you don't need to know everything. You just need to know the 1, 2, or 3 things that God has already made clear to you. Why would God give me the last half of the map if I am unwilling to take the steps that He's already shown me in the first half? It just doesn't make any sense. God says, I've given you 1, 2, and 3. I want you to do those, and when you get to 3, I'll give you 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll make it clear. I'll make it clear. I'll make it clear. And I'll give you what you need in those moments as well. In fact, you're even going to find that I will literally build a bridge for you when you get to certain points on this journey. And you're like, well, there's no bridge there. There will be when the time comes for you to cross. Because that's what God does. He intervenes and he brings the miraculous. But why would God build a bridge that no one's going to use?